every night towards the end of my work day, I make a list of all the stuff I need to do the following day. And the plan is that I come in every morning and I just pick up my list and I'm good to go for the day. But things never work out that way. I've got about 6 phone calls to make, and these are to people who are actually expecting my calls. I've made I've scheduled times with them to call them, and every single one of them is either not in or I got their voicemail. One of them's actually on vacation. I don't know, is this a message they're sending to me? I'm not really sure. So that part of my morning is kind of shot. I've got a client's website. It's going live today, so that's going to take a little bit of time for me to do that. And it's at 12 o'clock, I got to take my car in for servicing. So got to get that stuff done, and then it's off to the dealership. So it looks like the website's not going to happen either. There's some crucial pieces of information that I need from the client before we can go live, which I'm not getting because I can't reach the client. So his site is not going to be going up today. So I got a little bit of time on my hands, not time to leave yet, but I do have some other stuff to do. So since the website's not going to go live today, I thought, it's a nice day out. I'm going to do some work on the deck here. You see, my wife has asked me to measure out the deck and kind of plan for a bigger one. This one's a little bit small for us. So I'm measuring the deck, and of course, it doesn't go smoothly. Nothing ever goes smoothly. Tape measure is stuck under the deck. As I was measuring everything, it got caught, so I'm having to trying to negotiate this out now. You can see it's stuck. Unbelievable. So what was supposed to be maybe a 10-minute job is now turning into a 30-minute job. So I got the deck all measured out. I did it with a tape measure and all that stuff, and I drew it out, and now I'm gonna try to redraw this in Illustrator, and then I can arrange things the way I like, and I'll get a better idea. But I don't have time to do that now because I gotta head off to the dealer to take the car in. So I just got back from the dealership. One of their guys drove me home, and this has got to be the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. I'm not making this up. So the guy, first of all, he I get in the car and he's driving like crazy. He's driving this little car, and I mean, there's really only one way I can describe the way he drove. So on the way back to my house, he stops off at a sort of a license renewal center, and he says, okay, I'll just be a sec. I have to run in and drop off a package. And he leaves the key in the ignition with the engine running, and he says to me, don't turn off the engine. Whatever you do, don't turn off the engine. Now, it's kind of weird because the air conditioning was off and the windows were open, but he says, don't turn off the engine. So he runs inside. So I'm sitting by myself in this car that's idling, and it didn't make any sense why the engine was running. I mean, bad for the environment, waste of gas, bad for the engine. I mean, really, it's dumb. So I just reach over and I turn off the engine. He gets in the car a couple minutes later and doesn't realize that the engine's off. So he tries to put it in gear and then realizes that the engine's off. And then at which time he turns to me, gives me the look of death. And he says, did you turn off the engine? And I said, yeah. He goes, what'd you turn off the engine for? I told you not to turn off the engine. And I explained, that bad for the car, bad for the environment, waste of gas. He says, but it takes time. You wasted time because now I have to start the engine. Now, anyone who's turned a key will tell you that it probably takes between 1 and 1.5 seconds. Apparently that's a waste of time. So I instructed him, if he really wants to save time, don't let any of the stop signs or red lights slow him down. Just go right through, because that will save us a ton of time. He was not amused by that. So if there's a point to this story, it would be this. Every employee in your company has the ability to impact the customer's perception of the company as a whole. This stooge who was driving me home and was an absolute douchebag did in fact affect and impact my view of the entire dealership. Congratulations, you did a fantastic job. So I just got a call from the dealership and my car is ready. So we're heading down and we're gonna see if it's the same guy as last time, or if they sent someone who's a little better driver and perhaps a little more polite. So this is a much nicer vehicle than the one I had this morning. And you're definitely a much better driver, that's for sure. Did you know who I had this morning? The driver? No, it was like some mechanic guy. I don't remember. I don't know his name, but yeah. And he drove. It was a real adventure. He drove a little Versa, a little tiny car, and we went flying. It was wild. But no, you're very polite. You're a nice guy. This is a nice change. Nice vehicle too.
Yes.
Wow. So my car's done. I'm just on my way to pick it up somewhere around here. Ooh, maybe it's that one. Yeah, no, I don't think it's that one. Anyway, so it's like, I don't know, 4:45, and my day turned out to be what it usually does, where I get about half of what I wanted done actually done, and a bunch of unforeseeable things taking up a significant portion of my day. But if there's one thing that I guess I want to leave with you is this. First off, don't put your plans, don't think that your plans are like written in stone, because they're not. Things are just gonna kind of get messed up constantly. When you own your own business, you got to be ready for that and react and understand that things aren't always going to go the way you want. And then the second thing, with that guy who picked me up this morning, he totally changed my perception of the dealership. I mean, everybody in your company, everybody is a customer service representative, whether it's the receptionist or the owner or the guy who picks you up to drive you home in the company shuttle. They're all customer service representatives, and they can all impact on your company. And lucky for the dealership that the guy who drove me from home back to the dealer was actually a super nice guy, and it was a much nicer vehicle too. So it I guess it had a positive effect. So anyway, if you like the episode, great, click like down below or share it. If you want to know more, click subscribe. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, post them down below. You know I will respond. I'll see you next time.